Hi everyone, this is Debbie Campos. That right there is Brianna.
Hi.
And my son Braxton. So my son is spending a few days with us here for summer break. And I brought my kids here to this place that I would really like to check it out. It's called the Mountain Meadows Massacre Site. So let's get outside and see what this is all about. Okay, so the story here at Mountain Meadows is that in the years prior to 1850, that's when the Mormons came to Utah. They came from the prosecution that we're suffering in Mississippi, I believe. So they had to move, and then they found Utah and they established themselves here. But they were very scared still of being attacked by militias and people that didn't like them. As they established themselves here, they heard that there was some people, there was like a militia group coming towards them sent by the government to kill them. So they were scared, and then there was this caravan of immigrants traveling all the way from the east to the west also to establish themselves. So they were passing through Utah. Not the Mormons, but certain members of the church thought that was gonna be the militia that was gonna attack them. So what they did, they prepared themselves, and when they came, actually they killed them all here, right where we're standing. They killed about 120 people, all kids, women, and men. They were all, and then they also joined with the Indians to do it. So it is a dark side for the Mormon church, and by the way, I respect all religions. So this is actually not to say anything about anybody. It's just history. I love history, and I love what history can teach us, because of history we have been able to become better people.
Early September 1857, about 140, not 120, people camped in this valley. Most of them were families from northwest Arkansas, led by Captains John T. Baker and Alexander Fancher. They were headed to new opportunities in California. Their worldly possessions included about 35 wagons, several hundred cattle, and many mules, horses, and oxen. Beginning on September 7th, the camp was attacked by a group of Mormon militiamen and the Pout Indians they had recruited. In a 5-day siege fueled by complex hostilities, the attackers killed at least 10 men who fought valiantly to defend family and friends. The immigrants fought off their attackers until September 11th, when Mormon militiamen entered the encampment under a white flag of truce. The militiamen deceived their victims into surrendering weapons and property in exchange for protection and safety. The militiamen separated the immigrants into 3 groups and marched them from the camp. The wounded and some small children rode in wagons, followed by women and older girls on foot with older children. Men and older boys walked some distance behind, each escorted by a Mormon militiaman. At a prearranged signal, militiamen shot the men, older boys, and some of the wounded. Mormons and Pouts surged from their hiding places and, in a matter of minutes, massacred most of the remaining immigrants, including the courageous women who were attempting to protect the children and flee. The victims' voices fell silent, except for the sobbing of 17 small surviving children. The dead were stripped of their clothing and left without decent burial. Their wagons, livestock, and other property were plundered. In 1859, soldiers in the United States Army buried the victims' scavenged remains. 17 years after the massacre, a federal grand jury indicted 9 Mormon militiamen for crimes related to the siege and massacre. About 50 other militiamen were involved, along with an unknown number of Pouts. Only one, John D. Lee, was brought to trial and convicted. He was executed near here on March 23rd, 1877.
So I'm going to include the link for the video that tells the story of this. So look, this is where Cedar is. This is the memorial for the men where they were killed. And then a little bit farther is the memorial for the women, children, and wounded. And this is just the overlook here where we are right now. Actually, right here. This is where we are. So it's a really sad story. I don't think the church has ever tried to, you know. Actually, they have a statement of regret. You want to read it? Here.
What?
Okay, so because this was made,
the
the LDS made, they made this this memorial. Okay. So, statement of regret issued by Henry Eyring, September 11, 2007. Says the gospel of Jesus Christ that we espouse abhors the cold-blooded killing of men, women, and children. Indeed, it advocates peace and forgiveness. What was done here long ago by members of our church represents a terrible and inexcusable departure from Christians' teaching and conduct. We cannot change what happened, but we can remember and honor those who were killed here. We express profound regret for the massacre carried in this valley 150 years ago, today, and for the undue and untold suffering experienced by the victims then and by their relatives to the present times. So, pretty sad, right? But I guess what this teaches us is that so many people have been killed in the name of religion, right? Let's go. Let's go check over there.
So the recording was in the name of the Mormon religion.
What do you mean, the killing?
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't in the name. It was some members of the church. They decided to act on their own. And then they came and they lured the 140 people and killed them all.
Oh, so that's why the Mormon church.
Yeah, and then there was a judgment after that, and they got one person was found, you know, was executed by. But I think it was wrong that just one person fell for everybody, you know, because there are a lot of people involved in this massacre. Yeah. It's so peaceful here. Look, there's a trail here. Walking trail.
Built by and maintained by LDS Mormons.
Yes. Gravesite memorial. I think every September they come here.
Mountain Meadows Massacre descendants.
I'm not sure if they are buried here underneath.
No, but each rock there represents a descendant, a fallen one. It's 100.
Here lies the skull of a child victim of the Mountain Meadows Massacre, recovered by relatives and interred on 9 September.
Probably each rock represents a fallen.
Here lie 29 victims of the Mountain Meadows Massacre, reinterred on September 10th of 1999 by their descendants. So no, we're standing on burial ground. Yeah.
This was built in 1859?
Yes. That's when they came, they gave the proper burial to everybody.
President Hinckley dedicated the memorial on 11th of September 1999.
Oh, the original one, but then they remade it.
Hey, so where does the site continue?
So there, further down, there's a site for the men. Yeah, we're gonna stop by, and then for the women. Religion, it's such a basic fundament for humanity, but it has also been cause of so many deaths. What I was trying to say is that I believe that this kind of monuments can teach us how to be better every time, and I'm sure the LDS Church has learned absolutely through their mistakes, and so have so many other churches, right? But in the historical point of view, I think it's a marking event that shows what people's mind were back there, you know, how they try to defend their own families, and how everything was more violent. Everything was resolved, you know, by killing, and nowadays we don't do that anymore. So mankind has evoluted. Is that the right word? Ev Evolution? Huh? Mankind has evolved.
We have evolution.
Evolutionized. Okay, mankind has evolved. So let's close right here.
Why?
I like it. Comes another one. There's so many of them. Why? Something else that is said is that this site is very haunted, very active. What do you think, Braxton? Let's come back here at night.
Sure. What?
Is there two of them? I think they're mating. Remembered in honor of those who rest in this field. They were innocent and die in unjust attacks. Oh, execution at the scene of crimes. This is where John D. Lee was executed for his crimes. But he wasn't the only one, but he took the fall.
He's not doing it.
Sorry. Why are there so many grasshoppers here? This was a very interesting place. I always wanted to come here. Never got a chance, but I just love history. And sorry, the grasshoppers are attacking us. I love history and how history shows us the bad and the good in people. And it also shows compassion. It also shows regret. And it also shows how people rebuild. So, yeah. And now we are at the men's memorial site for the Mountain Meadows Massacre.
That guy's reporting too. Guy in his car.
Okay, see right here? Memorial to men and older boys. I think they were killed separately. I'm not sure. Look how they offer little things here, Brianna. See? And they bring little flowers to all the men and boys that died here. And for the third place now, we're for the site for women and children. Memorial to women, children, and wounded. Right here. We're right here. So we were there first, we came here, and now we are here. So the kids are in the car because they don't want to deal with the grasshoppers. They attacked us. So to finish this visiting here to this memorial site is that I think the history, it's the most important thing here. It's what connects us, history, the past is what connects us to the future. And that is very important. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for coming along to this visiting adventure today. And hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a nice week and a nice weekend or whenever you're watching this. And take care of yourself. Go outside if you can, and don't forget, find your healing in nature. Take care. Bye. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.